You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your loops. And until you see the loop, you will keep calling your behaviour you instead of what it really is. Conditioning. You think your actions are choices. They're not. Not most of them. Most of what you do, you've already done. Not consciously, but structurally. Same trigger, same reaction, same result, different day. And because it feels familiar, you call it normal. But normal is just repetition that went unchallenged. Let's make this simple. Every identity is built on a loop. 3 parts: stimulus, response, reinforcement. Something happens, that's the stimulus. A thought, a feeling, a situation, a moment of pressure. Then you respond. You act, you avoid, you speak, you retreat. And whatever you do gets reinforced. If the action reduces discomfort, your brain tags it as useful. If the action creates reward, your brain tags it as valuable. And either way, it gets easier to do again. Now, pause here. Look at your own life. Where do you procrastinate? Where do you overthink? Where do you react emotionally and then justify it after? That's not personality. That's a loop. Stimulus, discomfort, uncertainty, pressure. Response, scroll, delay, avoid, snap. Reinforcement, relief, temporary, but enough. Enough to wire it in. Again, and again, and again. Until one day, you don't even see it happening. You just call it, that's how I am. Here's where it tightens. Your brain doesn't care if the loop is good or bad. It cares if it's efficient. The more you repeat a response, the less energy it takes to run it. Which means, eventually, you stop choosing and start executing automatically. And this is where most people lose control. Not because they lack willpower, but because they're running pre-written patterns at a speed they can no longer perceive. So when you say, I'll start tomorrow, I just need to get motivated, this time will be different. You're not making a decision. You're expressing a preference inside a system that hasn't changed. And preference doesn't override programming. Which is why people stay stuck. Not because they don't want more, but because they keep feeding the same loop and expecting a different output. Now here's the shift. You don't need to control your whole life You don't need to become perfect. You need to locate one thing: the point of interruption between stimulus and response. That gap, that moment where you feel the pull to do what you always do, that's where identity is decided. Not in the outcome, not in the plan, in the response. So, start here. Not with change, with observation. When something triggers you, pause. Not dramatically, just enough to see it. Ask, what is the stimulus? What do I normally do here? What does that reinforce? That's it. No judgment, no emotion, just clarity. Because once you see the loop, you create space. And space is where authorship begins. And in that space, you can do something most people never do. You can choose a different response. Not a perfect one, just a different one. Because even a small deviation breaks the pattern. And once a pattern is broken, it can be rewritten. Identity is not built in big moments. It's built in loops. Tiny ones, repeated ones, invisible ones, that compound over time into something that feels permanent, but isn't. So understand this: you are not stuck in your life. You are cycling through it. And if you don't interrupt the loop, you will relive the same identity over and over again. You don't become someone new until you respond in a way you never have before.